In the summer of 2015, veteran police officer Joe Gliniewicz was found dead in a wooded area in Fox Lake. His case sparked national attention as it was first believed he was murdered, prompting a massive manhunt. But an investigation into his death uncovered secrets about Gliniewicz, the local police department, and the village of Fox Lake.
It's detailed in the new podcast, Over My Dead Body, Fox Lake. And the host of that podcast is Matt Baglio. He's with us now to tell us more. Thanks, Matt, for joining us, Matt.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
So this case, obviously known to our area, it broke, in 2015, and our viewers who might have forgotten, fill in the details of this case since it was about 6 years ago.
Yeah, it was an incredible story when it broke. Basically, what happened was this small town local cop from Fox Lake, he radioed in that he was following, three suspects into a wooded area. He was a hero. He was, he had a nickname of G.I. Joe. And really everybody in the town looked up to him. He was also the mentor to the town's youth and the Explorers program. So he went into the swamp. He called for backup. When the backup came, they found him lying on the ground, shot, dead. And then sort of unfolding the investigation, looking into what happened, and starting to peel back a little bit the layers of this officer's life. And that's, I think, where the story took a turn.
Yeah, well, this is all happening in the context of the beginning, I think, of the debate about policing, correct? And how did that impact what was going on here?
Yeah, that's right. It was a real unique time in America. In 2015 was sort of a year after the Ferguson, and it's weird. There's some similarities with what's going on with George Floyd.
Yeah.
The officer's death became a part of the national discourse at the time. Between the Black Lives Matter movement and the Blue Lives Matter movement, and Joe Gliniewicz's death really was elevated for that reason into a political point. And I think he became a symbol for a lot of people on both sides.
Talk about his wife's involvement and connection with all of this.
Well, that's a tricky story. I mean, there is some speculation, of course, that she was involved. She's on trial. We're looking more at what happened to Joe in 2015 and how they began to piece together this complex web, really, in the investigations to see what happened to him. And, because it was a complicated case. There were so many moving parts. They had to interview lots of people. Not everybody wanted the truth to come out. Melody is on trial at the moment. So we're sort of, I'd rather let that play out. She is a player in the story, absolutely, though.
But Matt, what about, he was embezzling money from this Explorers Club. And if I remember correctly, the village administrator, somebody was doing an audit, and I think they had their eye on him. Once he dies, does that information get passed over to the police department, or are they completely in the dark on this at the beginning?
Well, at the beginning, they were in the dark. I mean, they were sort of coming at this, let's follow what the police officer said. He said he was following three suspects. I think there were some who suspected it was something other than what he had described it as in the very beginning. But one of the things I learned in doing this podcast is that real investigations are a lot different than those that you see on TV. Mm-hmm. And the police really had to follow evidence. They had to look at what they had before them. There were some mistakes that were made early on with respect to the manhunt. There was this massive manhunt that was launched, and I think a lot of police were responding on pure adrenaline, pure emotion. So they were coming into this area that he was shot, and they were, looking for his killers. And then later the investigators had to come in and try to sift through all of that as well. So I think it was a part of all of that coming together.
So you're the author of a book about Argo that became that movie that Ben Affleck did. What drew you to this story?
Well, I think I'm always looking for stories that start out one way and then turn into something else. And I think that and also have a way to explain a little bit a deeper part of society. I mean, the Joe Gliniewicz story isn't just about what happened in Fox Lake. It's about also, it touches on some of those themes that we were discussing earlier, Blue Lives Matter versus Black Lives Matter, but also how we look up to people, how we think about our heroes, how we idolize certain people, And in the initial stages, the police were probably, guilty of doing the same thing, looking at this as this is an officer. We're going to follow what he says. And then sort of understanding that, even police officers can have a darker side.
Right. Well, the podcast is called Over My Dead Body, Fox Lake. You can listen to it now on Apple Podcasts and Wondery. For more information, check out Wondery.com. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Sure. Thank you for having me.